So guys, in last class we added 3 extra disks to our SAN. So now today we are going to install the role, one of the role on top of it. So just click on tools, add roles and features. We did not install yet, right? So add roles and features and then click on next. So Ahmed, is it visible to you or should I enlarge it?
No, I'm good.
Good.
Yeah, thanks.
So okay, then next, and then again please next. So see one target server role here. If I expand file and storage services and then file and SCSI, so then you guys will see one SCSI target server. So SCSI target server means this server will be capable then to provide the storage to the remote servers. So we need to make it a target server, and then we will go to our file server 1 and file server 2, and we will make them initiators. So please click on SCSI target server. Couldn't find yet. See, first you did file and storage services.
Yeah, I expanded.
Then expand file and SCSI services.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get it.
In file and then you will see SCSI target server.
Yeah.
So select that and then click on add features, and then please click on next, and again next, and please select restart the destination if server if required, do yes, and then install. So guys, installation is done on your side as well.
Yeah.
So click on close. And now if you will expand file and storage services, before we did not have SCSI over here, now we have
Yes.
SCSI as well. Before we had only disks.
Yeah, I understood.
Yeah, and so please click on this iSCSI, and now to create a SCSI virtual disk, start the new SCSI virtual disk wizard. Click on this one, this hyperlink. So select SCSI virtual disk location. So what we have now, so should we go for C?
No.
So C is our system drive. So click on E and then please do next.
Sir, excuse me. I expanded the SD and then I clicked the file, but I'm going back for the before when we started.
So please click on next and then give it a name. What should be the name?
FS, like for the FS one? Or
Yeah. So FS virtual disk. FS virtual 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 disk, and then please click on next, and what the size we have right now.
39.8 GB. Here it's empty.
So whatever we have, we will go with that. So 39.8. So click next, and now please, we are going with new SCSI target. So we are going to select this option. It's by default selected, so it will open up a new wizard now. So new SCSI target, click next and give it a name. What is the target name? Can be so what we were giving the name before, so it's okay. So then next, and now click add to specify the SCSI initiators that will access this SCSI virtual disk. So add, and then we have here, we can enter a value for the selected type, select this option, and then drop down for IP address, enter a value for the selected type, IP address, and what we have IP address for FS1.
It is 192.168.10.3.
So 10.3, right? 192.168.10.3. So do OK.
So we are like providing them services.
So please click OK, and then again click on add, and now add the second server. Choose the same option, enter a value for the selected type, drop down to IP address and type the IP address of the second server, 192.168.10.4. Are you sure we are typing the right IP addresses?
Yeah, I think so.
So do OK, and let me make sure as well. Yeah, we have 10.3, and then we have 10.4. Good. So please click on next. So just click on, these are the different authentication level. We cannot add over here, we are in the lab. So just click next. And then click on create. So click on close. Now we have added one disk, FS virtual disk, right? So please, we are on the same screen. We have tasks, tasks here. So click on this drop down arrow on the tasks, and then new SCSI virtual disk. Click on new SCSI virtual disk, and now this time choose the F, and then please click on next. And the virtual disk name, first we did FS
FS01 or 02 something.
VIRTUL virtual disk. Now we can do 1 or 2, or maybe 1 is okay. 1 FS virtual disk 1, and then click on next, and the same size we have the full. So click next, and now we already have a SCSI target, right? We don't need to go for the new SCSI target, so it's already there, so it will be joining that
So
one.
SCSI target would be like we can create like group of
Yeah, this we are going to this our SAN one SCSI target for the rest of the servers, for remote servers. So now what the idea is, the storage will be remote for those servers. We are going to install the cluster role on top of that. So FS1, FS2, we are going to make them a cluster nodes. So they will not be going to use their local disks. They will be using the remote disks. So please click on next, and then create. Click on create. and close. And now please click on tasks again.
So for high availability, we created first the network.
And networking.
Now we are creating
Yeah.
storage.
Yeah.
What else?
Storage, and then we will going to install the role feature
Yeah,
on top of them. Yeah, first we will install the feature and then we check their validity. Either they are properly working, all the components are identical or not. In clusters, all the hardware, software components should be identical on both servers.
It should be compatible to each
Yeah.
other.
So please on tasks, then again click on new SCSI virtual disk, and now choose the last one, G, and then click next, and now FS, so virtual disk 2, and then please click on next, and now please 339.8. So next, again we have already the name, so click next and click on create. Click on close. Now we have these 3 disks on our SCSI target.
Yeah.
Now they are ready to offer to the remote servers. So please come to your NT Tor FS1, the first file server, and then please click on this tools. In tools we have SCSI initiator. SCSI initiators means who is requesting for resources,
Sources, yeah.
and the SCSI target mean who is offering the resources, right? So click on SCSI initiator. The Microsoft SCSI service is not running. The service is required to be started for SCSI to function correctly. To start the service now and have the service start automatically each time the computer restarts, click the yes button, right?
Yeah.
So click on yes, so it will start the service that required by SCSI initiators. So now we have this initiator properties. So first, to discover and log on to the target using a basic connection, type the IP address or DNS name of the target and then
Click connect.
click
Quick connect.
quick connect. So please, what the IP address of our SAN?
192.168.10.5.
So we have 10.5. Then 192.168.10.5. So now click on quick connect. And then please click on done. Then please, another tab we have here, volume and devices. Click on volume and devices, and now click on auto configure. If we have converted them SCSI target the drives correctly, it should show up here, all of them. So just click on auto configure, and now all of them we have here, right?
Yeah.
So then please, to add a specific drive, click add. To remove a device, select, and then to immediately remove all, do this. So we need to add all of them. See, can we select all of them together or no? So click on add. So drive letter or mount point of volume or device. So just first do OK. See, can we see in the disks area or not? So do OK, click OK. And now please come on the file and storage services and click on disks. So they are available here now. We don't need to format there, we can format from here. We had both options, so we will go with this option.
So
So all three, now these where these disks are sitting
on our remote storage resource.
on our SAN server, right?
Yes, and server.
SAN server, just by sitting on FS1, if you guys click on the file explorer and then click on this PC, can we see any drive here? We don't have any drive right now, right? So just minimize this file explorer, and then the first drive, right click on it and bring online. On first, right click and then bring online, do yes, and then right click on the same drive again and then initialize, do yes, and the third time again on the same drive and click on new volume. On new volume, then click next, and now we have here disk 1. So next, and the size is okay, good to go. So next, and now we can give it a drive letter. Drive letter is E, right?
Yeah.
And then click next, and over here we can give the names. We first, when we were adding the drives to our SAN, we gave, right? So LUN 101, and then click next. And there is one option, generate short file names, not recommended. Short file names 8 characters with 3 character extensions are required for some 16-bit applications running. So if we have in our environment still the applications that are 16-bit architecture, so we can go over here for the short name as well. So these disks will be supporting those applications as well. So these are for legacy, so we don't have these things in our environment, so we're good to go. So click next and then click on create. So click close, and now please choose the second disk, right click, click on bring online, do yes, and then the third one offline. So right click, again right click on the second disk and initialize, and then turn it to the volume. Again right click and then new volume. So next, and give it a name LUN02. So then please next and create. So click on close, and then we one remaining. So again right click on this drive, the offline one, click on bring online, do yes, again right click and then initialize, do yes, and then again right click and click on new volume, and next, and this time LUN03. So next and then create. So click close, and now if we open our file explorer on this server, we can see 3 drives available to this server, and these drives we are accessing remotely, but looking on these drives we cannot say right, either these drives belongs to this server or remote, right? So just close this File Explorer, and now come to the second server. On your second server, again click on Tools, and then click on iSCSI Initiator. So then you do yes to start the service. And now the first on targets tab, just type the name of the IP address of the SAN server, 192.168.10 dot.
Can you try with language?
5. No, that's not gonna, most of the time doesn't work. We can try. Yeah, what the name is? NT tar SAN, right? So keep connect, so it's connected, right? So then done.
You put some one, right?
SAN, just NT hyphen tar hyphen SAN, what the name you have. We have DNS server in our environment, so names are getting resolved.
Yeah.
So click on done, and then click on volumes and devices, and then click on auto configure, and all these are enlisted here now. So then click OK, and now please expand this file and storage services,
Refresh.
and click on disks. So now see, we don't need to, it's already formatted, we just need to bring them online. So first drive, right click and bring online, yes. And if you will right click again, it's showing take offline, so we don't need to initialize even, we just need to bring online all three of them. So right click, bring online, yes. So again, third one, right click and bring online. And if you will click on File Explorer on this server, and now we can see all of them here. Now what the next step is? We are going to install the feature. The cluster is a feature of server. So over here, see, it's for dashboard, these tiles are. So click on this and we will be on the dashboard of this server. So come to the dashboard, and then please click add roles and features. And then please click next, 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 and now can we see on the role page it's a feature, so we will have to move one step forward. So click next, and then failover clustering right here. So click on failover clustering, select this feature, and it asking for add features, so click add. Have you selected, Ahmed?
Oh no, I'm just looking at
Got it? So failover clustering, make sure you are not selecting wrong. So failover clustering, and then if the pop-up will be for add features, click on add features, and then click next, and select this option, restart the destination server automatically if required. Click yes and install. Let it install and come to the second server, NT tar fs2, On FS2 again click on these tiles, so go to the
Before
dashboard.
doing F1 or FS1 or FS2?
First we did on FS1, now we are going to do FS2.
No, I did before FS2.
No problem, now do on FS1.
Oh, thanks.
So click on this dashboard. So if when you are on this dashboard, then click on add roles and features. So click next, so next, and then again one time next, and in features it's failover clustering. Select failover clustering and click on add features, then click next, and then select restart if required, then yes, and install. Come back to the first server. See the installation succeeded on NT-TOR FS1. So click close, and then NT-TOR FS2. It's in progress.
Almost. Software feature, is it ready? After this is ready.
No.
Lot of work. Succeeded.
So then if done, Ahmed. Let me know when it's finished. Installation succeeded on NT-TOR FS2.
Installation succeeded.
So please
Yes.
click close. Now guys, on NT-TOR FS1, on tools, click on tools, and then now we have one tool added there, failover cluster manager.
Yeah.
So click on failover cluster manager. Got it? Now on this failover cluster manager right now nothing is there, right? So it's not showing any pointing arrow, so we can expand anything. So right click on this failover cluster manager and click on validate configuration. Validate configuration. Got it? Now this wizard will open up. So click on next, and then to validate a set of servers, add the names of all servers. To test an existing cluster, add the name of the cluster or one of
It's not.
its nodes. We don't have any cluster right now, we are in the process. So just please just browse, click on browse, and then please click on object types here, object types, and its computer is selected already, so it's good. Sometimes it's not, so click OK and then type the names. Just type NT and click on check names. Click on check names and all the servers will be here. The started with the name NT. All our servers are starting from NT, so select
F1 and F2.
the middle two, FS1 and FS2, using shift or using control key. You can select both of them together, FS1, FS2. Click OK and it should look like this. Aman, is it the same? FS1, FS2, make sure. So then please do OK. Now we have both of them here, right? So then please click next
Now times.
and then run all tests recommended. Run only tests I select. So we will go with the first one, recommended one. So run all tests recommended. Click on next. Now it's showing what it's going to check, right? So all of these things, list fiber channel, host bus adapters, SCSI host bus adapters. So it's gonna check all the compatibility regarding the network adapters, regarding the connectivity, regarding your updates. Either both are on the same stage. So it will make sure both nodes are identical. So please click next and let it run. So is it done with both of you?
Yeah.
So can you go through all are succeeded, or is there any failure?
Shows me succeed.
So-
Warning.
Warning is okay, that's fine, but there shouldn't be any red error.
Okay. No, I don't have.
Let me show your warning as well, maybe. So guys, if we click on this view report, and then in the use recommended security privacy settings for Internet Explorer, it will generate a report for us. So wherever we have warnings, errors, we can go through, okay, what the real problem is.
The first page is open. Failover. Yeah. So this one.
See, so we have all the nodes are, the both nodes are listed here. Then on which time we started this failover cluster validation report and then completed, right? So these are the reports, inventory. So in my case, all should be showing success, right? So where Ahmed is it showing their warning or success?
Only one thing. Network communication.
What it's written there?
Warning.
Instead of success, it's written warning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So inventory, if I click on inventory, see how much things it checked. It checked list BIOS information, environmental variables. So he didn't leave anything. So it checked each and everything. And then see in networking. So networking, these are the components. Click on networking. And now
That is one.
yeah, the red over here, see in the on the results by category, in the second one is network, where you are seeing warning, right? Click on this one. Basically everything is underneath as well. It just take us there. Let me see. So it's good. So just minimize this report and then please click on finish. Create the cluster now using this validated nodes. We can write and we just can select this one, and it will take us to the new wizard to create the cluster, or we can finish it here and we can use the failover cluster manager to create the cluster. So finish this one. And now we need to create a new cluster. So we have this, see, create a cluster on this failover cluster manager, the right side pane. Click on create cluster, and on this screen please click on next and enter server name. Add the name of all the servers that you want to have in the cluster. You must add at least one server. So we need to add both, right? So click on browse and then the same practice, anti, and then check names and select both of the nodes we want to participate in cluster. So FS1 and FS2. Then please do OK. Again OK. And now we have these servers here. Then click on next and now we need to give it a virtual name. So we have two nodes, so they are going to be work like a single node, single server. So we need that name for single server. It will be a virtual name, so cluster virtual server. We use a term cluster virtual server. It will be a virtual server. Underneath backend, two servers will be working, but in front it will be only one. And what will be the DAD name then? FS. So cluster 1. FS cluster 1. So it's our file server cluster, so we are giving this name FS cluster 1. And then the net BIOS name is limited to 15 characters, one or more, leave it. So click on this address side. There underneath we have network. It's saying you have this network 192.160.10.0/24, and here we need to assign a IP address to this server. Other than those IPs, our file server 1 and file server 2 are already using. So other than those IPs, so if we have virtual server name, we need a virtual IP as well.
Yeah. 6.
So we have 6 available.
Yes.
Okay, then give it a 6. So 192.168.10.6, and then click next. And then please click next. Add all eligible storage to the cluster. We will go with that. So click next. Now our cluster is ready. So see NT-TOR FS1, these are the nodes. Then it's saying cluster name will be FS cluster 1, and quorum node and disk majority cluster disk 1. So our disk will decide the majority of the nodes, and IP address will be 6 for this cluster. So click on view report, and now you can see this report as well. So whenever we create a cluster, usually what we do, we try to save this report. So in case the later, if any issues comes up and anyone is pointing out towards us, okay man, you guys created the cluster, you didn't do well, we can show them the report. So everything is perfectly fine, right? And sometimes for to resolve the issues, we need to contact Microsoft. If we have support available in the companies, then Microsoft sometimes asks, okay man, did you save the report, when did you create the cluster? So if we have, we can give them, and it helps a lot for them to figure out what the issue can be. So please just cross it right now, close all tabs we don't need. So both reports gone. So click on finish. Now after creating the cluster, see we have bunch of things available. The first thing we got fs cluster 1 .newtech.edu. So now we have options. So if you guys click on roles, do we have any role available? So far there is no role, right? We did not install any role on top of it. We just make these two first servers one server. Virtually we make these two, bring them together and make a one virtual server. So both will be behaving like one server. Then in nodes, we have both nodes, NT-TOR FS1, NT-TOR FS2, both are upright. In storage, do we have something?
No.
In disks, we have 3 disks, right?
Yes.
Pools, we did not create any pools, so there shouldn't be any pool. No enclosures, we don't have. So disks we have, See the disk 1, 2 and 3. It's saying the disk, the first disk is showing disk witness in quorum, and the second two disks is saying available for storage. So we added 3 disks, and it's showing one for quorum and
2 for availability.
2 for
Availability.
storage.
Storage, yeah.
What the difference?
So 2 are available. The witness will be like if any of them fail, it will take place. Maybe.
It cannot take over. It does not have capability to take over the role, but it will play as a majority. Let the servers knows, cluster knows. Okay, still majority is up, majority is available. So quorum is, we are meeting the quorum. So till please keep the cluster up. So
Yeah,
cluster will not go down. If one node will fail, this disk will make them realize, so they are still in majority. So server will remain up. We will give some time on the board today regarding this clustering and the witness, those things. Usually I don't like to go much on paint, hard to draw the things. And then what we have in networks, see we have 2 networks. One is cluster and client, and the second is cluster only. What is cluster only? If you will click on cluster only and see in the bottom pane,
Same.
see subnets,
I have 3.
you have 3. Then guys, if you guys click on the roles and then configure role, click on configure role, right click on roles and then configure role, then click on next, and see all of these roles we can configure on this server. So those roles will be highly available. Some of them are enlisted here, and if we have other than this, then we have other server here. So then we can go for customized things. Whatever the roles other than these available roles, we can configure under this. So other server. Otherwise we have generic servers, bunch of things are there. DFS namespace server, DHCP server, distributed. So transaction coordinator, file server. If you will click file server, it's showing underneath the required role or feature. File services could not be found on any node. To add roles or features, use server manager. So these are the options. It's saying these are the roles you can configure on this cluster. You can put on this cluster, but please go and first install the roles. I don't have roles, I cannot see the roles, right?
Yeah.
So none of these roles are installed on our both of the servers. So we will have to go first and then install those roles. So if we want these 2 server to make the file server highly available, first we need to make them file server.
Yeah.
So just cancel this one, and now minimize this file server manager, the failover cluster manager, minimize this, and now we are going to add
Roles and features.
file server roles. So click on add roles and features, then click on next. So now we have 2 servers, right? Before we had only 1 server, now we have 2 servers here. One is FS1, FS2. Either we are on FS1 or we are on FS2, we can install the role on both of them. So one by one. So first select FS1 and do next, and then please expand file and storage services, then expand file and SCSI services, and the first one is file server. So click file server and then click on next, again next, and then check for restart the destination server if required. So do yes and then install. So is it succeeded? Installation succeeded.
Yeah.
So then close it, close this one, and then again please add roles and feature. Click add roles and feature by sitting on the same server. So now please click next on the first screen, again next, and now please choose the second server, Antitor FS2, and then please next, and now expand file and storage services, then file and iSCSI services, and then select file server, and then do next, restart if required, and then install. Now where this role is installing?
On server 2.
On server 2. We are sitting on server 1. We are using the same server manager and we are installing role on the other. So in my case it's done. What's your status is?
Yes,
Done. Then please click on close, and now bring back your file server manager. Click on this fs cluster1.newtech.ddco, and then on your right side pane there is refresh. Click on refresh, and now if you guys will see in the roles, do we have role? Why? Did not install. We installed the role on both
we
of
have to
them.
add them.
So, but now we have to configure the role on top of our cluster.
Yes.
We have this role, file server, our file server 1, file server 2, both have this role.
Yeah.
But we now need to add role on our cluster. We have what the cluster we have? FS cluster 1, that is a virtual server, right? So right click on these roles and then click on configure role. The first option, configure role. Then please click next, and then which role we need to select.
File server.
So click file server, and this time it's not showing anything right underneath, because it's showing a file server provides a central location of, you guys know what file server is. So please click next. So select an option for a clustered file server. There are two options: file server for general use and scale out file server for application data. So we are going with file server general use. So the first option, so click next, and now what type of name it asking for?
That class will use the access in this cluster.
So first we gave a virtual name and IP to our cluster, right? So
Yeah.
make our cluster a virtual server, and we gave the name that is for administrative purposes, right? And now it's for end users perspective. Now they are going to access the application, right? So application, what application we are installing on top of it? That is file server.
Yeah.
So we need to give it a name and then an IP address, that as well. So fs cluster, what should be the name? Fs cluster we have for our cluster. CLUSTL fs cluster.
Users and users something.
So just hyphen and share. We need to give us just a name. So file server, then hyphen share, and then please click on this address and give it a IP address 7. So click next, And now it's saying select only the storage volumes that you want to assign to this clustered node. So we have two volumes available for storage. It's saying okay, you can select one or both of them. So we can go both of them. So select both. So if we want to add another role on the same cluster, then we can choose one for one
And
role
one
and
for-
the other second for the second role.
Yeah.
So then click next. And then see it's saying network name fs cluster hyphen share OU. It created an OU there, CN computers DC. So in computers OU we have this name
Yeah.
now. So then click next. And then if you guys want to see report, you guys can click on view report, otherwise good to go. So whatever we have done, so it's in this report. So click on finish. Now you have a role running. And on which server this role right now?
This role
Yeah,
is on the same.
no. Role is running on. No, we went
Virtual,
for
on the virtual.
the active passive cluster, right? So in active passive, now the owner node, see there are bunch of
Okay.
tabs: name, status, type, owner node, priority, and information.
On the
The
node is
owner
a-
node saying it's an active node. So active node holds the role of the cluster.
My case it says like active. Owner is FS2.
Hmm?
Owner is FS2.
You are showing FS2. It's okay, yeah. Any of them the first time, and then if you guys will click on this role, and your it's showing FS2 for you, Ahmad, or
One.
One. So do it, Naveen. Come right click, move, then click select node, and then click in your case FS1
Yeah.
and do OK.
Now it's fine.
It will be moved to 1. So first time when we install a role, any node, the participatory node can be a active or passive.
Yeah.
Then we can move this role from passive to active. Active. And we can change the role. We can make any of the server active node. So now right now our role is on NT.tor FS1. And here if you click the second pane on resources, see all of these resources are available.
When we click resources,
Just underneath, see on the bottom there are summary resource shares. So on summary we can see status running, priority medium, owner node this one, client access name. So client will be able to access this share using this name, FS cluster share, right? And the IP addresses are this. That's in resources we have all of these resources. So all 2 disk storage are available for this. And then file server name is file server / share, and then server name, what we have given the role name and the IP addresses. If you will click share, both of storage are available here, E and G drives. So cluster default share, cluster default share. So is it enough good to go, or we need to do something else? You know, when we install the file server role on any individual server, after installing the role, what we do, we create shares on top of it, right? Those shares basically are available to end users. So we need to add a share now on virtual server, cluster virtual server. It's the same concept. If we are using single server, we are adding shares on that server. If we have two separate servers, we have to add shares on both file servers separately. Now we have the virtual server
Written for
in the back end, both are working, right?
yeah, yes.
Both are holding that role, but we have virtual server. So where we have to create the share
On the virtual.
on the virtual server.
If one down, another will take care.
So right click, yeah, yes sir.
I make mistake, I think. Listen.
Now please right click on this newly added role and then
Add file share.
add file share. Right click on that and then add file share. So we have two types of share over here, SMB share and NFS share. NFS share is for non-Windows, for third parties, for Linux, Unix, those things, and SMB share is for Windows. So we can go for quick and we can go for advanced and we can go for applications. So right now we are going for quick because we are in lab environments. Otherwise we can go for advanced, and if we have applications then we go for applications ones. And if you will be doing lab at home, you will be repeating this lab, please click on everyone and then read for what they are. See, in quick it's saying this basic profile represents the fastest way to create an SMB file share, typically used to share files with Windows based computers. Suitable for general file sharing, advanced options can be configured later by using the properties dialog. So it's again for Windows, but we can configure these options later as well. For applications, this profile creates an SMB file share with settings appropriate for Hyper-V. So creation, databases and other server applications. So if we are running Hyper-V and using the storage, then we can create this SMB share. So click on the quick one and then click next. So now which would you like to use? E. Okay, so next, and now share name.
File share or something.
We have our domain name is nt
So
file nt then file then hyphen share. So it will be our path e : /shares /nt file share. So when we need to access the share, we will be using this path. So please click next, and before clicking next, you guys can copy this one. We will try to use this one later. Or e shares nt file share, remember this one. So next, and remote path to share is for local, right? The first one. The second one is fs cluster share, whatever we have for clients, right? We give the IP address as well to that share. So fs cluster share, the role name, right?
We give IP7 to this one.
Yeah, this one IP7, and then nt file share. So we will access by remotely instead of locally. We will access using this share name.
So it will be the second one tomorrow. We go to the remote one or the first one?
No, we will go the second one, but we don't need to select anything, but we are just keeping in mind, write down somewhere or just copy paste if it work. So backslash fs cluster share and then backslash anti file share, then click next. Enable access based enumeration, we don't. Enable continuous, what the default is, it's good. So just next. And now on this page, click on customize permissions. And then please click on change. And here type, we have administrators, right? ADMINISTRATOR, administrator.
Same.
Yeah. Are you falling behind?
Yeah, I'm there.
Are you here?
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
click on change.
Okay.
Type administrator and click on check names and do OK. Are you with us?
I have changed.
On this page. Are you on this page?
Yeah, I'm that big.
Click on customize permissions.
I didn't change this.
Now you have changed. Click on change and type ADMI and then check names and it will complete the administrator. Then do OK. And now if you will go down and go for administrator,
So I said admin.
we have administrator already there or not? We don't have domain administrator. So add, click on add. Click on select a principal and administrator. Check names. Do OK. And give it a full control. Click on full and then add, do OK. Apply. If you have just taken ownership of the object, you will need to close and reopen this object's properties before you can view or change permissions. Okay. So do OK and next. And now create. Creation is very quick, so please click close. Now please come to your anti-tor DC1 and now please right click on this or just open File Explorer, this PC, and now please type in your search bar what we have seen there, backslash
FS cluster.
so fs cluster hyphen share backslash. Now it showed up, right? So fs cluster hyphen share backslash anti file share. Click on it and now see we are there. This share is on our virtual cluster, virtual server, cluster virtual server, and now we are able to access it remotely. So it means our cluster is working perfectly fine. Now you guys can go and do the job for clustering.
Yeah. It's this one is really like high percentage for this topic. It's too long.
Yeah.
Lot of steps.
And then any issue? So now please create some folder here. One folder we can just create a file directly. So new and text document. Right click, new text document, and name it test1. Double click on it to open, and then so cluster is configured successfully. Click on file and then click on save. Type anything and just save it. Now our file is open, and come to the FS1. See, FS1 is our active node.
Yeah.
So just right click on it and
Shut down.
just power off. Power off means it's crashing. Server is crashing, right? The active node is going.
That's
So-
this one.
FS1, yeah. It's an active node, right? So power off. Now we have only server 1, server 2, the passive node, right? So come back, and
Shoot down.
you did not shut down?
Shut down.
Okay, it's okay.
So power is just direct, like it's too far, like fast shutdown kind of.
Yeah. So now if you will come back and start working, our server FS1 is crashed, and we still able to work. So now the active server that was holding the role, that gone, but we are still able to work on the file that is open on the virtual server. And see, if I come to back to the server 2, where are you, man, Ahmed?
I'm leaving behind.
Where you live behind? What are you doing? Let me know. Where are you?
Just creating the folder share name. You download.
On this? You did not create the folder before?
No, I didn't create. So
Why did you sit down?
So we are, why did you shut down? We are testing if our file is open on DC1, we are accessing that share remotely, and now our active node is down. Still we are able to work on the file. We did not feel any difference, right? File is open and running. So just you can watch now. So if you have come back to NTFS2, now your server 1 is down, right?
yeah, yeah.
So come to server 2, FS2,
Failover
Cl-
manager.
tools, and click on Failover Cluster Manager.
Yeah, FS2 has become online now.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, on FS2, just see here. So drop this pointing arrow
Yeah.
and click on roles. See, role is still up, and now it's showing owner node is FS2.
Yeah.
Shows me.
Before it was FS1. Active node was FS1. Now it role fail over to the second server. And if we will click on the nodes, it's showing our FS1 is down and only one server is up.
It shows me.
Mhm. So in this case, if any of the server participating in cluster fails or goes down, we are still able to access our role, our file server, right? The reason is our storage is sitting on SAN. Everything is SAN. Now both servers are pointing towards that storage. They are accessing that storage first. FS1 was giving us capability to access those files and folders. Now FS2 is giving us that capability to access the files and folders. So if you will now bring back this server FS1, power on this virtual machine, and then come back to FS2 and keep looking at this side, it will come up. See, now it's coming up. Now it's
Joining my
both are up, and if we'll come back to the roles, our role is still now FS on FS2. The thing is, when the passive node becomes active and then the active that went down will come back, it will resume the role of passive server. So if I will come back to the anti-tor DC1, I can still keep working because my files are now by both servers are up. So close these files. We don't need, we just there to test it. And now please right click on this role and then move. Click on move, click on select node, and then click anti-tor FS1 to OK, and in the bottom click on resources. So it moved very quickly from FS2 to FS1 because we don't have anything on the servers. And if it's a SQL server, we are clustering SQL server, that will take a little time.
what is the SQL surface? It's a different interface.
No, in our cluster side, it looks for us it's everything is same. But otherwise, we are structured query language, right? That provides database. We can cluster those SQL servers as well. So that will make our storage highly available. So good for clustering.
Yeah.
Let's discuss few things on the board so we can fully understand what cluster is. Okay, we will be able to record the voice only. What is cluster, Ahmed?
Is that cluster?
What is high availability?
Availability is like keeping the resources up anyhow for the end users, like so like to keep the like resources, applications, using a like bunch of like group of like you, our servers. If any of them like down, like another take place and end user is have access, it's available for them anyhow. Whatever going on in our environment.
So we can say it's a group or collection of technology protocol and redundant hardware. To make the applications or services highly available.
Can we say collect cluster is
So cluster is the technology.
Yeah, cluster is a technology. Pardon? In highly available, we cannot make using only cluster make the things highly available.
We need redundant hardware.
We can use multiple things to achieve this high availability. Basically, high availability is a uptime of application or of the service in percentage in a year. So in a full year, a percentage of time, we can say percentage of time in a year.
Percentage of uptime or
Uptime. Percentage uptime. Percentage uptime in a year. So what does it mean? So when we say it's a percentage of uptime in a year, we can say if it's a 99%, it can be a 99.9%, 99.99%. So 99 point, then that can be the uptime in a year, in percentage. Uptime of application or of a service in a year. So 99%. So downtime in a year, and then downtime in a month. If we are saying we will keep our application or servers highly available up to 99%, and then the second thing is downtime. The remaining 1% will be a downtime. What is downtime?
Is a time like when the services are not available for end users.
So downtime means a period when a service is not available. Service or application is unavailable. So we cannot remember these things. So I have something. So just I want to show you guys how much it will be. So if it's a 99%, it means 3.65 days can be a downtime in a year, and then 7.20 hours in a month. If we are committing, okay, we will keep our application up and running throughout the year 99%. Our high availability rate will be 99%. This much time we can bring our service down, even for maintenance, for anything, right? And then if we are saying 99.9%, then only the downtime can be 8.76 hours. And 43.8 minutes in a month. So here 52.6 minutes and 4.32 minutes. $5.26 minutes and 25.9 seconds. $31.5 seconds, and per month 2.59 seconds. So when we design server and the services they will provide, we keep our this percentage in mind. When we are going to provide the services, we need to sign a SLA. SLA is
Service level agreement.
service level agreement. So we are signing SLA.
Yeah.
Service level agreement. What is service level agreement? We are going to decide the uptime of this service. What will be the high availability level of this service? We are going to provide the application. We are going to run on the servers. That application will be available up till maybe 99% time in throughout the year. If it's the time 99%, what does it mean? This service level is saying we can bring our service down only 3.65 days per month.
No, yeah. In
And
years.
then in here,
Yeah.
and only 7.2 hours in a month. Achievable. Not bad idea. Good, we can go easily with that. But what if we are going with 6 nines and we call them like that? When we talk about the SLA, we always say it's a 2 nines, 3 nines, 4 nines, 5 nines, and 6 nines. So whenever you will be listen SLA, service level agreement, they will be always, they will be talking about this. They are not very less. They will talk about okay 99.99%. They will say okay 2 nines. My SLAs allow me 2 nines, 3 nines, 4 nines, 5 nines, 6 nines. So if we are committing, we are signing service level agreement for 6 nines.
It's very hard.
How will have to design our network? See, only 31.5 seconds throughout the year we can keep the service down. 31.5 seconds and 2.59 seconds within a month. So it means basically we are committing to keep our service up and running 24/7 without any downtime. Basically, it means like that. So then we have to make our network like that. Everything is happening when we are designing the networks. If we have done with the networks, then we can't do anything. Then we have to make a big changes, right, in our networks. That's not an easy thing. But when we are designing, we will design our networks like that so we can keep our SLA. So then what? First, what we do? We have one server. And we will go with the multiple components. We will have more than one memory, CPU, disks, network cards, right? And for disks, we will go for RAID, any kind of RAID, right? So first, what we do in high availability, we go with the hardwares with multiple components, so we can keep our server up and running. So see, if we have very low-end servers, and what if the servers are keep going down every few days, right? So it will hard to achieve the high availability. On top of that, we are going to build our networks. Those first servers will be really good. After achieving the high availability, the redundancy in a single node, then multiple nodes comes in, right? We are saying, okay, I have achieved the redundancy, so it's good to go. I don't need any other server, right? But what if the whole server goes down? To avoid that, we move towards failover clustering. We move towards clustering basically. And what is cluster then? What is cluster?
It's like moving off all the services
Collections of service.
in between from the passive, like
When we say cluster, cluster means group of computers
having shared
or servers work like a single server, computer or server. So cluster basically means when a group of servers, computers, or collection of servers, group computers or servers are working together like a single machine. We have two types of clusters. What those are? What those types are?
he's in node.
Node. node is a single server is a node. Every server that is participating in cluster, we call that server node. Node is an alternative name of the server when it participating in a cluster. So one is load balance. And make sure it's different load balancer. It's a load balance cluster, you can say cluster, load balancing cluster. Or just to make sure you guys can Google what the exact name is. And the second is failover cluster. We did this lab right now.
Yes. Failover.
Failover cluster, right? Load balancing cluster means in the front end, it's working on the front end and redirecting the traffic to multiple servers on the back end. For example, we have a website, client are coming to the as a one. They know, okay, www.google.com. Everyone is coming to google.com and the load balancers are sending them to different servers at the same time, right? So they are pointing, okay, go that server, that server, that server, that server. So they are cluster that are providing load balancing. Then we have failover clusters. Failover clusters means we can go over here, active, passive, or active, active. If we are going with active passive, it means at a time the role is being held by one node. This active node is having the role and giving the services to the clients. We can say we have two servers. This one is active, this one is a passive, and the clients will keep accessing this node all the time. It's sitting idle. The passive node is waiting to something happen. It will keep sitting idle and waiting. Okay, if something will happen to the first node, I will take over the role. So as this server goes down, the heartbeat, we configure the networking there, heartbeat. Did we configure?
Oh yeah.
We added network adapter to this node. Let me bring it to the other. So what we did, we had one server, then we had second server. We had FS1 and FS2. On both we had two network adapters. One is 192, right? And they are performing the regular connectivity. And the second one we have
Is for
10 dot something, right?
is for like,
These
connectivity.
two are working for heartbeat. Heartbeat means every second they are sending a ping request to the second one. So they keep pinging each other to check either they are alive. When the five pings lost, passive node takes over. When the five pings, passive node is send one ping. Okay, active is alive. No, didn't get back. It sent second ping, third ping, fourth ping, five ping. When fifth ping didn't find the active node, the passive will assume that active is down and it will take over the role. So role will be fail over to the passive node. So now passive will be an active node. Passive will resume the role of the active node. And then if we will bring the active node back, what does it mean? Then that active node will be a passive node. The first passive had take over the role and that became the active. And then the first that was active, when it will come back, it will be a passive node then. First this one was active, this one was passive. It went down, it took over the role and become active. Now if then it will come back, it will be a passive node. It's a active passive, and if we are going with the active, if this server is a active, the second server is active as well. It means they are performing not only failover, they are performing the role of load balancing as well. They are doing both things. They are balancing the load of the traffic while providing high availability of the role as well. If one will go down, the second will take over. The few sets of the components will be running. If one application is running, few sets of the components of that application will running on the first node. The few of them, the few parts of the application will be running on the second node, and the clients will be keep connecting. One first client coming here, the second client here, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So it's not only making the application high available, load balancing as well, because both are active. And if this active will go down, the parts this guy was taking care of, this will take over. No, this single guy will keep working on. So it's a active. Then we in the lab we went over one quorum disk. So we have 3 servers. How they decide the cluster should be up and running, they decide with the majority. They said, okay, we are 3. If 2 will be alive, server will be up and running. If 2 will go down, the single will not keep running. It means the cluster will be down. Though they decide with the majority, and in the OR nodes, majority can be decided easily. So we have 3 servers. If 2 are up, then cluster is good, fine, right? And then if 2 goes down, the cluster will be gone. There will be no more cluster. What we do, instead of using a separate server, what we did, it give us luxury. We can add just a single disk to make it full. Okay, we are still in majority. In our case, what we did, we used one FS1, then we used FS2, and then on the SAN we used SAN as a storage disk as well, and one of the disk we used as a quorum. Quorum means now it realize it keep all the info of the cluster. So as one active server goes down, this disk understand, okay, something happened to the cluster and it's one of the cluster is down, and it sends the communication. We are still in majority.
What happens like if SAN is down? What happens if SAN is down?
But there we have over there high availability as well. So if we will be discussing SAN, we make that SAN as a high available as well. So everything is when we are going for the 6 nines high availability level, 6 nines SLA,
Yeah, they have.
it means we are working on each and every component. So each and every component should be highly available all the time. So we can lose more than one nodes even. So this quorum disk make this cluster full. Okay, no, we are still in majority. Don't worry, we are 2. So role still keep running on one of the server, thinking I have one partner available. So this one is a quorum. FS1, FS2 our 2 servers. What we did after networking, we installed the cluster feature on both of them and make them single node virtually, right? And we gave it a name FS cluster 1. Now there are 2 servers, but now they are showing up as a one server for end users, for administrators. Administrators, because we know we are running on 2 node clusters. So this one will be the new cluster name. Instead of file server 1, file server 2, now we have FS cluster 1. It will be the name of this server. And we have to give the IP address to this server. Now, because if we are using the IP address .3 or .4, they are representing these individual servers. They are not going to represent here. If we are sending the traffic to .1 or to .4, the traffic will go to the single node, individual nodes. And now we have grouped them together. After grouping them together, we need a separate name for them. When we configure the different disks into a RAID, we give them a virtual disk name, right? Separate. And then we need to give the IP address. So when the traffic will hit to the DNS server asking, okay, where the FS cluster 1 is, the DNS server should resolve that IP address to this name, right? So, okay, I know this guy. Address is this IP, that is .6. But it's our server. We don't tell end users which our server is, right? On top of that, we install the role. What did we install? A file server role, and we gave the name. We said FS cluster share. This one is for end users. Now, if end user is typing the name FS cluster share, it should be resolved as well, right? It's an English name. They will keep typing, and if the query goes to the DNS server not going to point out anywhere. It will say, okay, I don't know. I have no idea who this guy is. So we give another virtual IP over here. That is, we give .7. So if administrators need to deal with this cluster, they can use this name and the IP address for administrative purposes. And the end users, if they need to access the share, they will be going to type // FS cluster share. And now they are going to access the file server role. But after that, they need to work. As we created the files and folders on a single file, we created a share. On top of it, we created a share as well. and then that will be backslash whatever the share name is, so share 1, share 2, whatever it is. So on top of this role we add a share, so the users can work on that, on using that share. So this will be the our path. This is the whole lab we did. What we did in the first, we created networks. We add 2 network adapters for heartbeat. We add 2 network adapters for their regular communication. And then we install the role, cluster role on each of the, not the role, each feature, on both of the servers to make them a single server. And then we installed a role on top of that. For that, first we went to the single server and we added the file server role, and then in the file server manager we went there, failover cluster manager, and we add a role on that cluster, and then we add a share on top of it. Any question? Crystal clear?
It's good.
Kind of just need a like practice of the lab again.
Yeah.
A lot of things we consider.
And now if you come see, and now if open on your domain controller, click on tools and open Active Directory users and computers. When you will open Active Directory users and computer, expand your newtech.edu domain. You got it, Ahmed?
Yeah,
And click on the computers. See, in this computers OU, how many servers are there? Basically we should have only FS, Antitor FS1, FS2 or SAN, right? We had 3 member servers right now, but over here it's showing 5. What is first is FS cluster 1. Now it took as a separate computer, right? They're a virtual computer now, and then we added a role on top of it, and it added as a computer over here as well. It's for end users, for customers, and this one is for administrators. So basically it's taking them as a server. And but in this description it's adding something. It's saying okay, failover cluster virtual network name account, failover cluster virtual network name account. So it letting us know okay what basically it is, but it has, right? And then please minimize this Active Directory users and computer. Again click on tools, and then this time click on DNS. Click on DNS, and in DNS expand your server Antitor DC1, and then expand forward lookup zone, and then click on this domain. And now you have the same thing here as well. So if someone is typing FS cluster 1, the DNS server can resolve the name. And if end user is typing fs cluster.share, IP address is here in DNS server. Entry has been made to this server. So this server will point out okay, you can go there, right? So we have DNS A record as well.
Sir, last like one day you asked a question, I think, why the domain controller has a like bookmark on it. When you create a new, it shows like it's a customized, it shows a bookmark. Like,
Yeah.
so why
I asked you or I told you?
you asked us?
So then tell me. All are built-in OUs. You know, when we apply the group policies, we did not study group policy 740. At some places they went over because they went with the whole MCSA together. Basically, it's now it's part of the 742. if we could move together, then in my case that was maybe the best thing, because I knew what we have done in 740 and what we are supposed to do in 741 and 742. So everyone goes with their own structure and schedule. The thing is that domain controllers, when we are going to apply the group policies, we cannot apply group policy on the built-in OUs other than domain controllers. Just right click on this new tech.odu, right click here, and then come to new, and then come to organizational unit. From bottom, the fourth option,
New zone.
new, and then from bottom, the fourth option, organizational unit. Got it?
Yeah.
No? See, on our Active Directory users and computer, right click on this domain, come to new. Are you with me now?
Maybe he's
You are on DNS server or DNS?
GNS.
Minimize the DNS. I'm saying Active Directory user and computer. We minimized that first, right? See in the bottom, do you have this book on your taskbar?
Yeah. I come back.
You are here now.
Yeah. New.
Right click here,
Yeah. I did.
new
Yeah.
organizational unit. Give it a name. So, for example, anti users, and do OK. Do we have bookmark on it
Yes.
as we have on domain controllers?
Yes.
So always the custom OUs we says we create ourselves. The custom OUs always have bookmark on it, and the built-in OUs, they don't have bookmark on it other than the domain controllers. The reason is, when we go to the group policies and we apply group policies either on domain, OU, or wherever, we can apply group policy on these customized OUs. We cannot apply it to the built-in OU, but we can apply group policy on domain controllers as well. So either it's a built-in OU, but it has customized this bookmark, so it resembles with our own customized OU. So it looks like the same then. So wherever we have this group mark, these will show up in the group policy object side. Others cannot. See, minimize this Active Directory users and computer. So Naveen,
Yes, sir.
click on tools. Click on tools and
Stuck, I think.
open group policy management. Stuck? Then just watch. See there. So click on group policy management. Let me click just. Let me show you guys. And if I expand over here my forest, then my domains, then my new tech.edu, how many OUs I can see here? Only domain controllers and what we created right now,
Yes.
anti users. So other than domain controllers, no one OU is there. We can apply our group policy on them. We can apply group policy what OUs are enlisted here in our group policy management console, and that will be only customized OU, custom OU we will be keep creating, but the domain controllers are the exception. So this exception they showed by bookmark.
Yeah, it has to be exception because
Yeah,
we don't have any choice.
even you cannot see a computer OU here. See, there is no computer OU even. If we want to apply a group policy on the member servers or the other one, we will have to create a custom OU first. Then we will move those computers to that custom OU,
Yeah.
and then we will be able to apply the group policy. Otherwise, we will have to apply on the domain then. It will be get applied to each and every node.
Yeah.
So guys, we are stopping here, calling off the day. And next is long weekend. You guys want to have a class or What do you guys think?
Me and the will, me and
I can come.
each other.
Okay, then we will have a class. We are not going to do off.